Hey everybody, it's Michael here from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we're looking at the Umarex Fusion 2, and this is a CO2 .177 caliber bolt action pellet rifle that uses either dual 12-gram CO2 cartridges or one single 88-gram cartridge. I'll show you those in a bit, some of the options when I go through this. Now this product is available in both our Canada and our US online Replica Airgun stores over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. They will be slightly different in configuration. They will look the same, but because we have slightly different rules and regulations here in Canada, the FPS will be a little bit different. And I'm not entirely sure about the barrel setup, the silencer setup. It's actually called the SilencAir technology. And in Canada, we're not actually allowed to use silencers, even on air guns. So I'm not sure if that's disabled or if it just, I'm not sure. We'll have to do the field test shooting video to know for sure if we're getting any additional silencing effect from this. And I know you can't see everything because this gun is so long, but it looks kind of like a silencer. Potentially it's just, you know, a mock silencer for the Canadian version. I don't 100% know. I got to kind of look into that a bit. And again, when I do the field test shooting video, we'll probably know if it seems pretty quiet, and then we'll have a better idea. Now, if you want to see this gun in its full entirety, I can't get it all in this table. It's just too hard to get the whole gun in. It's so long. But I did do a preview video, so check that one out. You can see me sitting at my chair holding it, get a better idea of what it looks like. I'll probably throw some screenshots or some pictures on the screen here too, so you can see the full length, what it looks like. But let's get into some specifications right now. This is a plastic and metal built product. It is a bolt action repeater with a single action style trigger. It uses either a dual 12-gram CO2 cartridge setup or an 88-gram cartridge, and you will get, well, at least the American version is 70 shots with 12-gram and 250 shots with the 88-gram. But take into account that is a 700 FPS setup versus a 500 FPS setup. So the Canadian version should get more shots per dual 12-gram CO2 and probably closer to 300 shots with the 88-gram CO2 cartridge. So I would say 100 and maybe 300. Now again, this air rifle shoots .177 caliber pellets, so you can choose whether you want the high velocity, usually alloy pellets, or lead pellets that are generally heavier. It does come with two cartridges here, so these magazines, okay, and they hold 9 rounds. I'll show you kind of how these work in a bit. Okay, so I've got one partially loaded up. I'll load up a few more rounds just to show you how that works in a bit here. Again, the Canadian version has a claimed FPS of 490. The US has a claimed FPS of 700. This is the Canadian version, so when I field test it, I should get close to 500 FPS. This product weighs in at 5.95 pounds, or about 2.7 kilograms. The total length is 40.5 inches. The barrel length is 18.5 inches, and of course it has a rifled barrel because it is a pellet rifle. You'll also find this top-mounted Picatinny Weaver style rail on the top here. And I will be picking this gun up and showing it around, so I'll do that in a bit. And it does come with this included 4x32 optical scope with all the mounting hardware as well, which I'll show you in a second. You're also going to find M-LOK style mounting points on the gun, on the sides of the front stock here and on the bottom. So if you want to add different, things, you can add tactical lights, lasers, anything you want. Maybe some sort of forward grip. I don't think you really need that, but you could. And again, the US version does incorporate the SilencAir technology, so it does quieten this gun a little bit. It's going to be really quiet. Canadian version, I'm not sure what to say yet until I actually shoot it and find out for myself. This product is made in China, and it does come in a cardboard box, which I'll try and show you. Okay, so we'll see here, you've got your information for 890 FPS. Two 12-gram CO2 cartridges or an 88-gram cartridge, pellets, .177 caliber, rotary magazines. There's a picture of them. There's the CO2 setups, right? So there's the gun, okay. Fusion on the back. Not much different, just a little bit different picture. Okay, a lot of the same stuff. And a lot of the same specifications you can see here, okay. So this is 6.4 pounds. So that's the trigger pull, I believe. No, trigger pull is 3.5 pounds. It does have a light trigger, and the weight is 6.4. So the information I pulled up was that it was actually 5.95. So it's actually a little heavier. So I'll correct myself. It does say on the box 6.4, but the information online I pulled up was closer to 6. Would have to actually weigh it to know 100%, but you do have other information. Overall length 40.3, barrel length 22.8. Were those the same, I wonder? No, actually, so I gave you wrong information. We're going to go by what's on the box. So I'm going to repeat that. Sometimes the information that you pull up online is different than what's on the box. I usually pull it up what's online because it's usually accurate. But let's go over it one more time. So the overall length was about the same. I said 40.5, which was online, 40.3, so that's almost the same. Barrel length 22.8 versus 18.5 online. So good to know, and about 6 pounds versus 6.4 pounds on the box. Trigger pull, I didn't pull that information up. So 3.5 pounds, fairly light. The trigger does feel good. And the length of the pull is 14.3. Anyways, so dangerous distance, 350 yards. Okay, so let's show what comes in the box real quick before I get into showing the gun. So you do have the scope, 4x30 2-inch or 4x32 scope. Okay, and of course it's going to be adjustable. You just take these guys off here, and you'll be able to adjust the scope. So once I get it set up, put on the gun, I'll have to do a few adjustments first, and then we'll get her working. When I do that field test for you guys, you do have these nice covers, okay, just to cover the, you'll have this, one's kind of, I guess it's sort of the anti-glare cover. It's yellow on the back, clear on the front. You can take those off too as well. You do get these magazines here, and I'll just load up a couple pellets for you guys so you can see how that works. Okay, so you do load it from the front, not the back. Okay, and you turn it. Let's just get this in here. So you see, you load it from the front, not the back, and you just turn it until you have an exposed hole, and you put the pellet in. Okay, and once it's in, it won't rotate back. So it's like spring loaded. See that? So once you put the pellet in, okay, it won't rotate back. So the spring gets a little heavier with every rotation, as springs normally do. They get tighter as you lengthen them or shorten them. Okay, and so there you go. Now we have a fully loaded magazine. I can't rotate it anymore. Fully loaded with 9 pellets. Okay, so that's how you load the magazines. Let's take a look at the mounting hardware. It does include the mounting hardware. It's going to be the Picatinny Weaver style, so a little bit larger compared to the dovetail. So if you do want to put a different scope on, you might have might need different rings, but make sure you use Picatinny or Weaver with that scope. Okay, so let's get into looking at the gun. Try and get in here nice and close. So it's a nice product. It seems really well made. So you have this bolt action here, right? Obviously when the magazine's in there, it'll work a little differently, but you've got your trigger here. So you got your safety, right? So obviously not going to work. It's a nice 90-degree safety. Works really well, easy to use. No mistaking whether when it's ready or not. So I'm going to put the empty magazine in here. I've never done this, so let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. Maybe go the other way. Okay, so you go from the back. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you just pop it in, and it rotates down. Okay, so you pop it in like that, rotate it that way. And it will rotate, I'm sure, once you've actually got, see, because it's going to be spring loaded, so every time you pull it back, it will spring load the other way, and it'll rotate. So I did have it right. The manual, let's just show you the manual so I can show you what I'm talking about. It doesn't really give you a lot of visual instruction. So this is the portion on how to put the magazine in. You can see it doesn't really show you. So there is really only one way, the way I did it, that you can put this magazine in. So I guess they're basically assuming you'll figure it out how to put it in, but there are loading instructions and all of that in the manual. Okay, as you can see, I've never actually used this gun. I haven't shot it. I haven't done the field test shooting video, so I'm fumbling around a little bit here with this guy. It's new to me, so we're kind of learning things as we go together during this video. All right, so that's the magazine placement. So you see how that's put in there. Again, you just sort of pop it in. There's this sort of groove on this side. So I want to make sure you understand how it works. So you got this sort of opening here. You pop it in like that and then just rotate it down and then it's locked in. Okay, just so you know, all right? So let's take a little bit more of a look at this gun. You've got this nice sort of pistol grip. It's very ergonomic. You got a nice rubber butt plate here, okay? You have this Picatinny weaver rail on top. You've got this, this is the dual 12-gram CO2 cartridge, but before we get there, I want to show you this silencer, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Potentially not a silencer here in Canada. On the other side, not too much going on. Okay, nice weight to it. Let's get into this magazine here, or the CO2 cartridge. So I'm going to unscrew this. This is the 12-gram portion of the way you can load up CO2. Okay, and we'll take a look at that independently. But of course, you can use an 88-gram. I have a Crossman one here right now. So you could just screw that in and use an 88-gram, okay, because the threading is the same, obviously. I'll show you that. The threading is the same, okay, on both of these. All right. So if you want to use the 12-gram, you just unscrew this. You'd also unscrew this. This is the piercing portion, okay. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to pierce any just yet. But you always put them in, one pointing down. First one goes in down, and then the second one would go in this way. Okay, so you put two of them. First one goes in with the tip pointed down, and then the next one goes with the tip pointed up. Then you would screw this in. Okay, obviously do this while it's in the gun. Okay, makes more sense because once you've pierced it, it's going to leak all out. So put this in the gun first, put your CO2 in, tighten that up, and then tighten this one up. Okay, that's how you do that. Let's put this back in. Okay, we'll do that, tighten that up later. Now, by the way, there is another manual for the scope, okay? So you can figure out how to adjust it, right? Make your adjustment settings, all of that. Okay, how to put it on the gun, all of that for you guys. All right, let's talk some pros and cons and then finish up this video review. The Umarex Fusion 2 is a fairly low cost yet full featured air rifle. So it's about $150 in the Canada Replica Airgun store right now, at the time of this video, fairly low cost. It does have a nice ergonomic, modern looking design to it. It does have that ability to use either 12-gram or 88-gram CO2 cartridges, and it does come with a 4x32 optical scope and all the mounting hardware you're going to need for it. It will include two 9-round rotary magazines, and it may in fact be a fairly quiet gun if that SilencAir technology is not disabled here in Canada, but in the US it will be quiet for sure. You also have that single action trigger that feels really good. Of course, you have to work that bolt. The bolt precocks the hammer or the internal hammer and trigger, or striker and trigger. So again, it has about a 3.5 pound trigger pull. It does feel good. It is fairly short. And that safety is nice and large and easy to use. You obviously know if it's on or off, pretty easy to tell. You also have those M-lock slots for mounting additional hardware if you don't want to do that. So there's a few cons, not too many. If you would prefer to use open sights, you're going to have to put some sort of either red dot or magnified optical scope on here to use it. Again, the Canadian version will be limited to under 500 FPS. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're expecting 700 FPS out of this gun because you read the US specifications, that's not going to happen with this regulated 500 FPS Canadian version that doesn't require a license here in Canada. And again, I'm not sure about the functionality of the SilencAir technology because here in Canada, we're not allowed any type of silencer, even for air guns. All right, keep posted for my field test shooting video where we'll find out if this gun in fact is quiet. We'll find out the velocity, the real world velocity, if it gets up in near that 500 FPS. And we'll see how accurate it is when we do the indoor airgun shooting test here in the Replica Airgun C-Can. Again, I want to remind you this product is available in our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores over replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. We also have other products in both of those stores: air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.